Hello everybody, I am Technovoid, your host, and randomly breaking out into song, and with me is your favorite Pokemon analyst, Hamsterwings. Hey Hamsterwings. We got some
Hello.
playoff matches here, we got some quarterfinals.
Welcome to the quarterfinals where it's a best of three, but the third game doesn't matter.
Yeah, welcome to the quarterfinals, where it's 3 games, but you only need one. As in the
Yeah.
person who won the first game of each round just won the second one too.
Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that.
Alright, well, cool,
So
yeah,
we've
so, yep.
we've got one match from everybody involved in playoffs, minus Diggory because he has a bye.
Because he's not cool. Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant, actually. Yeah, so first off, we've got Meteor Bower versus Hoser here. So, as you mentioned, or I don't actually think you mentioned this, but it is best of 3, and the same the same team needs to be used for all 3 games. So this is our first time doing this, so there's obviously more of an information game this season. With playoffs where you can sort of use the first match to suss out sets and
Yeah, playoffs
hopefully,
isn't extremely dreadful anymore.
well, it's still extremely dreadful. I think you were filled with dread.
Uh, yeah, but that's not because of playoffs specifically.
Oh, true, fair enough. Good. I'm just constantly filled with dread, right? Like playoffs or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Playoffs will end, and I will continue to be dreadful. I mean, full of dread. Same thing. So yeah. I mean, basically trying to use the information to your advantage. One thing that didn't happen this week may happen in the future. This season is folks can forfeit a game early just to preserve information if they do not see a win con anymore. But starting off here, we've got Hoser versus Meteor Bower. So we're seeing from Hoser, we're seeing the Kingambit. The Kingambit not coming a lot this season, but it is coming to this match, which I think is a big problem for Meteor Bower, because he's a lot more prepped into Gotharita than Kingambit. We also
Yeah,
yeah.
Salamence is in fact carrying an item that I don't think has ever been seen in TDD before.
Oh yeah,
The Shed Shell
the Shed Shell, fantastic.
allows you to switch out no matter what.
That's really funny. But yes, so on both sides we are seeing the SAA picks. I think that makes a lot of sense. In terms of Kingambit, I mean, obviously you have something like, Aura Sphere, you have Hearth Flame, which can do a lot of damage to Kingambit. But yeah, I mean, I see it. I see the vision. It's a good Pokemon. And then, how do we feel about these lower tiers here? The Palmot, the Kilowattrel. Um,
I think Kilowattrel makes sense
mhm.
because I'm sure Steven, as a player, is intimately familiar with what Mega Venusaur can do.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So definitely having another sort of something that can either do Psychic or Flying is definitely very nice. And as we see either in this game or the next one, this Genesect is packing Psychic, which makes a lot of sense. That's something you need to do a lot of prep into.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy to see 4 Pokemon basically committed to killing Mega Venusaur
Mm-hmm.
and 0 committed to killing Kingambit.
It is rough. It is pretty rough.
I don't want to say literally 0 because Ogerpon's there,
Right, right.
but like King Gambit Sucker Punch does like 70 to Ogerpon, and
Mm-hmm.
Ogerpon doesn't kill.
Yeah. What about on Hoser side? Looking at against Meteor Bower, what's his sort of con here?
I mean, I see Ninetales,
Uh-huh.
and I honestly never see a good reason to leave Ninetales behind.
Right.
Aurora Veil, it's particularly threatening just against anyone who's not packing wall breakers, which this team isn't very breaker friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there is prep in moves like Psychic Fangs,
Right. Yeah.
but regardless, Aurora Veil can take over a game. As for the Cleavor, I do know that Steven is packing Rapid Spin on Blastoise.
Yes, sir.
I get that. I also think Blastoise really needed Aura Sphere, and it does not have it.
Yeah. I mean, hindsight 2020, but like
Yeah, of course.
the King Gambit, it's like such a weird, and this isn't even the only time this happened this week. But just like a high tier Pokemon that just did not really do anything impressive during the season, which sort of just led to a lack of prep for it in quarterfinals, leading to that Mon taking over a game.
Yeah.
So like on one hand, it's like, Meteor Bower, what are you doing? Obviously you need some fighting move to kill this Kingambit. But on the other hand, I get why you didn't. Like, I understand why you see this team with the Cleavor that has come so much more frequently and think, okay, Rox is a much more prescient threat than a Kingambit. So I see where he's coming from, even if it is unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right, let's pop on in, see how it goes. I mean, we basically spoiled it, but it's fine. So this is the first game here, so no information has been revealed yet. So we're leading off with Fake Out and like AV situation. Looks like a pretty good call out with bringing out that Fridge Ref immediately for the Psychic Fangs.
Yep, but immediately doubles, predicting Steven to switch.
Go by Citrus Berry.
Yeah, loses its Citrus Berry turn 1, clicks Psychic Fangs, anticipating the Aurora Veil. Does not happen. Fair enough. Right back to Salamence. And Blastoise comes out here as well.
Yep. So the Palmot packing that Fire Punch for Genesect. Good to know for the future. That's going to come up a lot, like in the next few games, of just Genesect pretty much always switching out of Palmot.
Yeah. In comes Gambit. And in comes Genesect as well. There's a lot of switching going on.
Yeah, a lot of, not much damage.
I get it. The positioning is really important in this game, but A9 does get up the free Veil, and now the Intimidator comes in.
Yeah, that's not great for Hearth Flame. Gets the attack boost.
Yep, does get the attack boost, but that's still a king sitting there.
What's a king to a non-believer?
That's not how that goes.
Oh, well, Flash Cannon. So not packing Ice Beam here, I do understand. I do get it. But yeah, that's kind of rough. The Pursuit, revealing the Pursuit here, a move we have not seen in TDD in a very long time.
Yeah, it's kind of been power creeped.
Very unfortunate.
That's so unbelievably sad.
Yeah, that AV just coming in clutch.
And that Sucker Punch, we could have seen that coming.
yeah, that Hearth Flame just having a rough time there. Rough time of it.
I know, in chat, Steven literally just said 3 dark moves. So, yes, it does have 3 dark moves, but I can't imagine running a Kingambit without Sucker Punch.
Right. Alright, and this is... So, yeah, here, very, very nice, just delicious Air Slash there. And that's where we see the Water Pulse instead of the other one. And that's
yeah, and that's where the collective happens.
Uh-oh. Sucker Punch fails here because it's getting up a Tailwind.
Yeah.
Now, Blastoise into Venusaur is a very dangerous sort of play for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Giga Drain is something that you always need to be wary of, and I'm sure he was, but getting the Genesect in here is nice because it does have Psychic. It is pretty much always getting that special attack boost no matter what. And here we see the competitive.
Yeah, hilarious. But obviously the reason Genesect came in was because it can't be Sucker Punched. And a beautiful double down to take the first 2 kills on that team.
Yeah, I mean, Cleavor's still at full, which is really not good, and especially now with the double into Genesect. Losing Genesect here is really bad.
And in hindsight, we know that the Cleavor is actually scarfed too.
Yes. So at this point, it is very difficult for the Cleavor to not win this game, because I don't think anything survives.
Mm-hmm. But Kingambit's gonna come in. It's gonna click its little Sucker Punch.
It's not. It's gonna click. It's gonna click that. Good call there. Yeah, you know, Meteor Bower expecting the Sucker Punch, going for the switch, but instead, gets pursued, loses a lot of its health, which I think basically sets the grave up for Meteor Bower.
Yeah, it puts Cleavor in a ridiculously winning situation.
Yeah, like Cleavor pretty much can't lose this, because I don't think, I mean, Fourgeist is a very, yeah, I mean, that Trick Room, I guess, but like, I mean, you see the Claymore with the scarf, you know, like, you need to get rid of that thing, and this is a fair play, this Draco into that miss, that does kill, I see the vision, but I think in the 1v1 between Ninetales and, Fourgeist, I don't see Fourgeist winning that.
Yeah, me neither.
And so, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a bit worried about how many of these Pokemon, I guess we don't super see it this match, how many of Meteor Bower's Pokemon feel like supports. I feel like he just doesn't have the damage.
That's kind of what I felt like.
Like, Genesect, obviously, you've got basically a very specially spec'd thing with Flash Cannon and Psychic. You also have the E-Speed. That's cool. The Blastoise feels kind of like a support. I don't know. Even with Mega Launcher, I don't feel like Water Pulse is great.
It's equivalent to Hydro Pump.
Is it?
It just doesn't miss.
I thought it gets boosted to 90.
No, Mega Launcher's double.
No, Mega Launch is 50%, I think.
I think it's 50% for the healing move. Maybe it is. I don't remember.
Pretty
I
sure.
remember hearing it was equal to Hydro Pump.
I think
But
it's
maybe it's not.
I'm pretty sure it's base 90.
Okay.
I'm writing a hack where I'm messing with Mega Launcher, so I'm pretty sure it's base 90. You got me checking now.
Yeah, 50%.
Yeah, 50. Yeah, so it boosts up to base 90. I don't know, it feels rough to me. So there's that, and obviously we know it has it has Fake Out and Rapid Spin as well, and Ice Beam, so we obviously doesn't get revealed this match, but like that's kind of lacking in damage too. Obviously Ice Beam very nice for the Lando. Hearthflame, unfortunately, I feel like this is where a lot of the damage was, but we just didn't really get a chance to see it either game because that King Gambit just kind of beats it.
Yeah, I feel like Hearthflame was kind of reliant on Blastoise to get its damage out, which at that point, I feel like you just have to cut out the middleman and make Blastoise the damage dealer.
Yeah, just have them both, yeah. And then, yeah, so we don't really see it here, but like, the Salamence, as you mentioned, the Shed Tail, the Intimidate, also running Tailwind, the Kilowattrel, obviously competitive, I think, great bring in here, sort of just saying screw it to wind power, or whatever it's called, and just saying like, hey, there's a Lando, let me get those boosts, let me turn this into damage. So I love that. The Fourgeist, I don't know, I feel like there was a lot of speed control on this team where it wasn't that necessary. Because like so much I feel like comes down to priority, and I guess that's again predicting the whatchamacallit, the King Gambit, which you didn't, which is fair enough. Any final notes on this match? Or the next one?
So I think that's about what I wanted to say.
Cool. All right. So Hoser moving on into semis, gonna be fighting Sada's Wrath next week. Let's move on into game one of the Moth-ership versus Fat Cat Teahouse. Talk to me about these teams. Very similar SAA core on both sides, followed by like a single C tier. It's very interesting how this panned out. Like every team ended up having the same comp
As their opponent, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening in this first game, and I feel like there was a lot of information preservation going on.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure if that's accurate, but that's what it felt like to me. So we've got the Enamorous, which Burnt has no way of knowing is scarfed.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, Sinistra doing what it does. We got Iron Hands doing what it does. It's running its Assault Vest, as always. Metagross, I mean, it's pretty much just here to kill Comfy, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's what you need it for. I mean, yeah, it loses pretty badly to both Moth and Heracross, but like, okay. So what? Just don't bring it in. I mean, you kill Zera, you kill comfy. I don't feel like it's super threatened by the Shaman either, so I think it's a good pick here.
Yeah, plus, what's his face? Skeledirge kind of switches into Heracross every single time unless it clicks Rock Blast.
Which does.
Yeah, it does do that.
Yeah. I don't remember if that's this game, but it does click Rock Blast at one point. It's pretty fogger for it.
Yeah, this team is kind of, it looks a little hard into Heracross specifically. There's nothing that like loves to switch in on all of its moves. Which, I mean,
yeah,
I don't think there's a lot of things like that in general.
Right. Yeah. What do you kill it with? Like, obviously you have Skeledirge. Like, I feel like a solid, I don't know if 1 Torch Song takes it out, but 2 definitely does. Yeah, but like at that point, yeah, it's kind of rough. But otherwise,
an Amorous might kill.
Yeah, with like Moonblast potentially. That's what I was thinking.
It depends if it's a bulky Heracross.
All right. What about from Birdside?
I mean, we're looking at that menace, the Shaman. I know it hasn't been to every match this season, but that thing is such a menace. It hits the most annoying speed tier in the world. It flinches everything. Everybody knows what that Pokemon does. Zeraora's here again. He's been around.
He has been around. His usage has been a bit odd, a bit strange, but
But he was sandbagging the whole time.
The whole time, for sure. So this Moth, spoilers for the match. This Moth I don't remember if it's this game or the next game. It ends up really going off in this set. And I'm just curious why you think that is. Was there something very specific about this Moth prep? Does it have a really good, I
kind of think it beats everything on the team except, directly Iron Hands, which Iron Hands doesn't really hit it back.
Right, yeah. So I guess to that point, what do you think Ned could have done to deal with the Iron Moth?
I don't know.
Because,
Gyarados, maybe?
I guess, yeah. Because, Metagross gets, psychic moves, right? I don't know.
Which
he gets ground moves.
I'm not saying bring Gyarados as in, it's an obvious answer, because I don't think it is, because Zeraora destroys it.
Right. Yeah, I just feel like there's not much on Ned's team that deals with the Moth, and I'm not sure what the answer there is myself.
Yeah, it's a rough Pokemon to deal with offensively. A lot of time the answer is just outspeed it. But Ned's team kind of doesn't do that.
Yeah, speed control, you're looking at mainly Comfy here. Or not Comfy, fucking Rabombi.
Yeah.
Which it does do. It's good about setting up tailwinds.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know who's better at setting up tailwinds? Shaman.
Yeah, but Shaman's not done that all season.
Until now.
It would never. What about Wordeer? What's his deal?
I never really know what his deal is.
I respect it. Yo, I genuinely respect Burnt for this fucking Weirdier fucking, just pocket pick. Bro's been coming and, been useful. Barely.
Yeah, I respect it. I still just don't really understand.
Alright, cool. Let's get on into this match.
No cat today.
No cats. Understandable, though.
Just the Teahouse.
Alright, so what's the sitch with these leads?
Well, immediately Zeraora opts to skip Fake Out. I believe Iron Hands is not carrying Fake Out in this game.
Okay.
So it immediately goes for the knockoff onto the Dirge. Removes its Covert Cloak, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna get one more. And he takes that Assault Vest away, which Iron Hands just loves. They would never want to give up that Assault Vest, but they did. So
yeah, no,
this unfortunate.
Yeah, this Comfy just winning this 1v1 against the Iron Hands.
Yeah, Comfy effectively just says, ooh, health pack.
Health pack, delicious food. Yeah, and this
Gets the Scorching Sands off into the Heracross, which burns, and then Burnt is like, well, okay, I guess I just won't Mega and
Yeah.
I'll have Guts.
I'll be this one then. I will simply be this one. Yeah, I respect the bulk on Skeledirge, but I feel like without these Torch Songs, it's just not getting any damage. But now it is starting to do that, so that's
Yep,
cool.
the song has begun.
See, protect in here. I mean, this is a very good turn from Ned. Obviously, Brent getting that Tailwind up, but going for Psychic things. That's not what I thought happened there. I thought that was the Heavy Slam turn.
That's another turn coming up.
Never mind. Oh, look, it's the Cleric.
Gets off the little Hospitality. You know, there's some healing going on both sides.
Yeah.
And Sinistra eats a lot of damage for that.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that floral healing when you have the Croc sitting in definite KO range.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think you needed a kill there.
Metagross comes out, which I kind of like to see here, just because, you know, that's how you kill the thing.
Right.
So
yeah,
this is interesting to me. I don't know if Ned read Protect, or if Ned was trying to hide the fact that Metagross is carrying Bullet Punch.
Oh, interesting.
Because even here on the next turn, Metagross still does not click Bullet Punch.
Huh. That is
Or,
interesting.
actually, maybe it does. It gets faked out.
Oh, yeah. We will never know. It's very possible it did, I suppose, yeah. Stomach Tantrum going to take that out there.
But either way, if it did click Bullet Punch, it's still unrevealed because Metagross is obviously faster than Iron Hands.
Mm-hmm.
So Metagross will take that secret to its grave, and we'll see in the next game where it does click Bullet Punch.
Uh-huh.
At this point, Ned only has one way to kill this Shaman, and it's the Scarfed Enamorous. Which is why I don't really love that it attacks the wrong guy.
Yeah, letting that Tailwind go up is really bad right now. And, like, that para, like, hurts, but I don't feel like that really changed that much. Obviously, the double pit Tailwind kind of sets Enamorous back up front. But
I think the play had to be kill the Shaman with Enamorous. Get off whatever damage you can into the Wardeer.
because what's the Wardeer doing on that turn? Like, I mean, obviously it's using
I mean, it's T-bolting the
Thunderbolt.
thing to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of becomes moot when you remember that the Enamorous got paralyzed.
Right.
But I think the play had to have been, use Enamorous, take out Shaman, switch Enamorous, and bring it back in so it can Earth Power Moth.
Fair.
Was it carrying Earth Power? I have no idea.
No idea. I mean, yeah, hindsight, obviously. I mean, Moth, really, the Moth set with the, eject pack, overheat eject pack, really, put in work. I mean, it's a nice set. Obviously, you get mad damage, basically OHKOing anything that doesn't resist you, and then getting a nice free pivot into something. Works really, really well in both in this game and in the next one for Moth. So, really nice prep on the Moth.
It was carrying Earth Power.
Okay. Nice prep on the Moth. As you mentioned with Ned, Ned potentially maintaining some information for next game, which I can respect. But yeah, the second one, honestly, pretty similar situation here. Anything worth noting? So I guess where was it? Was it again? We didn't see it this game, but the Sinistra, I feel like didn't have the damage. This is like the first time it hasn't been a threat on the field.
That does change in the next game. Sinistra does quite a lot in the next game.
Well, it does a lot in terms of setting up burns, but it's still only doing like 10%. It's chipping. It's just setting up basically will-o-wisps.
Yeah. But
which is important, yeah. I guess what was the where was the win here? What did Ned have to do differently?
I really think kill Shaman.
Yeah.
I think Shaman needed to be prioritized more, especially when nothing else could have set up Tailwind. Had Shaman died, Tailwind would not have gone up on Burnt's side, but it would have on Ned's side, meaning the paralysis would be canceled out. So as long as it didn't get full parried, and Amorous was still maintaining its scarf speed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because at that point you end up with, because the as you mentioned, the Wordier was paralyzing it, but at that point Shaman's not moving before Rabombi, or no, Shaman's fucking dead, so nothing's moving before Rabombi.
Rabombi can slowly chip away the
yeah, because Rabombi maintains its sash basically, because the reason it lost its sash was because Shaman went before it on the following turn, and air slash it down to 1. So you maintain that sash, which means that unless the Wordier hits that slot, it does get to live a heat wave. So
I think what had to be done was Moonblast Shaman, kill it, take a Thunderbolt, sack Sinistra, then bring an Amorous back out so it can lock into Earth Power.
Fair enough. Yeah, because I think, I mean, the Wordier is a 2-shot on Enam, but I have to imagine Enam, it kills. I mean, it's probably also a 2-shot, but it's first.
I don't know. Has Iron Moth revealed Protect?
Iron Moth. Not this game.
Okay.
Next game, I'm trying to remember if it uses anything besides these 2 moves, and I can't remember. I think maybe it has Sledge Bomb. I don't know what its 4th move is. Regardless,
well,
I mean,
that's the path to a win that I saw. It's not a guarantee to win by any means.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think Burnt played very, very nicely. I mean, really, I think the first half of this match just being dominated by Comfy, especially like on lead, just leading several turns, really putting a huge dent into the Iron Hands, while Zera Aura just like kind of disrupted the fuck out of Ned, and then just set up Tailwind and pissed off. Like, really, really nice work from Comfy this game. All right, let's get into the final match. So this is going to be match 2 of you versus Aquarari. So rather than talking about, I guess, the team comps, I guess we could do a little bit of that too. I'm curious what your thoughts are in terms of, since we have a second game here, what information has been revealed that you remember, and how is that going to change things from the first game?
I know that Aquarari has way more information than I do.
Okay.
Which is interesting because the first game was actually a 5-0.
Right. Yeah. You. I'm trying to remember who swept game 1. Was it Blaziken?
Yeah, it was Blaziken.
So yeah, Blaziken basically swept through the first game.
The combination of Blaziken and Ogrepon.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so, Monkey Donkey frisked every item on my team.
Was that okay? Because I remember, I couldn't remember if it was game 1 or game 2, but there was the question about whether Ursaluna had AV or not, and then it frisked the lefties.
Yeah. Ursaluna was the only thing that didn't get frisked because it did not come out in the first game.
I see. Okay, that's fun. Yeah. So
which we'll get there, but my turn 1 did not go the way I expected at all.
This game or next game? Or
this
first
game.
game? Oh, this game? Okay. Yeah, when did the Gyarados reveal T-Wave? Because I know that was huge for you.
That was game 1, and in my mind, no Gyarados is carrying both Thunder Wave and Dragon Dance.
And I see. Yeah. So I know that was huge for you because you were concerned about that thing, and when you saw the T-Wave turn 1, you're like, okay, I'm not as worried about Gyarados anymore.
So Aquarari has some really interesting information over me.
Okay.
He knows that Boulder is banded.
Right.
And he knows that Gengar is Specs.
Uh-huh.
So neither of them can switch moves.
Right.
He also found the Citrus Berry on Moltres.
Uh-huh.
Those 2 guys in the middle always have the same item.
Right.
So
which he did actually frisk. There was a point where it came in and it frisked both Blazikenite and Wellspring Mask, which is very funny to me.
Yeah.
It was very useful information.
So I didn't get a whole lot of information last game. An important piece of information that I didn't get, which we'll see on turn 1, is that Brute Bonnet is sashed.
Uh-huh.
That would have been nice to know.
You did pick up the pretty much the majority of the Kirim Black set last game though, I think. Like even if it didn't use moves, you did see the D dance.
Okay, let's be real. I knew Kieran Black's set before the game
Right,
started.
right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not that varied. I get that.
So I had a good read on Kieran Black just off of guesswork. I ran the whole set assuming Golden Go was scarfed.
Mm-hmm.
Gyarados, I know, isn't an attacker, which was interesting.
Right.
Talonflame, I didn't have a ton of information on because I one-shot it with Rock Slide in the previous game.
Yes, sir.
Monkey Donkey, I knew was scarfed because it lifts Specs Gengar Shadow Ball.
It was scarfed? You mean AV?
Yeah, I meant Assault Vest.
Okay. Because you did say scarfed, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Bro's so fast, he's dodging these shadow balls with 14% HP.
And Brute Bonnet, I assumed it was carrying some combination of Spore, Sucker Punch, and what's the last one? Rage Powder.
Right. Yeah, so Brute Bonnet is interesting because Akurari obviously has not been bringing this thing much. I think he has mentioned regretting the pick in general. But I mean, so in terms of being a support mon versus an offensive mon, we've seen it kind of both ways. Like Egg, I feel like a lot of the time used it as a supportive mon when he drafted it.
I was genuinely pretty worried about Brute Bonnet.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just curious, like, where that sort of fits in, because Augurari hasn't really seemed to have a place for it on the team, but here it is. What do you think? What do you think it deals with?
I was worried about Gyarados and Brute Bonnet.
Yep.
But then Gyarados kind of quelled my worries by clicking Thunder Wave.
Right.
Game 1.
Yeah.
And I was wary of Kyurem Black and Golden Go. I wasn't really worried about Talonflame or Monkey Donkey.
Fair enough. God, weren't worried about Monkey Donkey. What is wrong with you? And yeah, we have another game of like just mirror matching the tiers. We got the full S through B core on both sides. What about Okurari? What do you think? Looking into you, what's the game plan here?
I mean, it's kind of huge that he knows every single one of my items except one.
Yeah. I mean, just knowing both of the choice items is really nice for switches.
He adapts the lead very well. My lead stays the same as game 1. And Okurari updated it.
Right.
Updated his.
Yes. All right. Well, let's show that lead off. So yeah, you lead with the what is it, Bolt Trait? Yeah, because you want to set up that tailwind. You just want to Mighty Cleave some bitch.
And at this point, I was like, he's clicking Rage Powder, so I'm just gonna keep doubling into Kyurem and setting up Tailwind. So, well, actually, no, hang on. I kind of thought that since he knew Boulder was banded, he would just Sucker Punch it. But he didn't. And then my plan was like, okay, I'll get up my Tailwind, get Blaziken in, and then Blaziken can start killing things. But none of that happened. Instead, Boulder was allowed to live for some reason. And still is allowed to live, despite being locked into close combat.
This poor Brute Bonnet just not really doing much for this team. I mean, obviously it's very nice to get rid of.
Yeah, it got Kyurem the setup. He does target Iron Boulder, which makes me quite happy. I would much rather Boulder die than Moltres.
Yeah, so now this is really nice for Kyurem, obviously, because it, basically goes back up to the fastest thing on the field, but then that disable.
Yeah, Gengar does his job wonderfully.
Specs who?
Disable the only 100% accurate move. So I reveal Vacuum Wave on Ubearable here. I haven't called him that all season.
Yeah, you haven't. It's so him, though.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Moltres is just kind of being left to its own devices.
Yeah, it's doing its own thing. I mean, it really fears a Icicle Spear when it gets undisabled, but until then, kind of just sitting pretty.
Yep. And because of the citrus berry, it manages to live 4 hits. Would not have lived 5.
No, would not have. Yeah, really, really good for him because he just. Oof, I mean, we got two Phantom Sashes there.
Okay, here can you pause it for like a second?
Absolutely.
I legitimately went to calc if Vacuum Wave killed Monkey Donkey.
Because it's a quad resist.
It's a quad resist and it's
a
assault vested.
Yeah, quad resist assault vest base 40 power move.
It was guaranteed.
Okay.
But I had to check.
Fair enough.
I also thought that Kirim would click Protect here since I've revealed Vacuum Wave, but it didn't. Kirim instead went to get Ubearable off the field.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm very interested to see how much longevity this Monkey has had. Because going into this season, Monkey did not feel like a tanky support or a tanky disruptor. It felt like a fast, not fast, but it felt kind of like a glass cannon to some degree with some supportive utility. But this thing has been basically
interesting. It's been interesting to see it as an off tank so often.
I was literally gonna say, yeah, off tank. Yeah, that's literally exactly what it's been this season, which is so weird because I don't feel like. I mean, I need to relook at its stats, but I don't feel like its stats support that kind of play style. But it's been working.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Both Monkey Donkey and Ubearable are going to go down here. Ursaluna actually lived if it got 4 hits, but it did get the 5th one. As Moltres is able to set up the Tailwind now.
Yeah, I mean, versus that 2.5x speed, though, it doesn't even matter.
Yes.
Because of Blaziken.
Because of Blaziken.
Yeah, specifically because of Blaziken. Yeah, because you get the double protect on this turn, right? Or no,
I protect both. Yeah.
Yeah, you do double protect. Yeah. This isn't your first time making use of double protect in this series. I think you did it last game too, and it worked out for you.
Yeah. Every single time I clicked double protect, I was incredibly scared of Kirim just dragon dancing.
Valid.
So I click Rock Slide here because I think it was the right play. Joe dies. That was... I'm not sure exactly what his set was, because you never posted the paste.
Oh, shit. I should do that, yeah.
But I assumed max HP, and it was like a 60% chance to kill.
I will check that. I remembered sort of like checking the paste and then obviously not pasting it because that was your match. I was gonna wait until after, then I fully forgot.
And Gyarados picks up the kill on Blaziken, but at this point,
what do they do to Ogerpon at this point though?
Ogerpon will easily eat a Brave Bird, and Gyarados, I'm not particularly worried about its ability to kill. Because I don't think it does flinch there.
Yeah.
But based on the moves I've seen from it, I don't think it had space for a dark move.
We only saw Waterfall and Thunderwave, right?
Waterfall and Thunderwave. Well, even if it had a dark move at that point, Moltres won the game.
Fair enough. Yep. With what? I mean, you weren't doing enough damage with Fiery Wrath, I don't think.
Air Slash.
Oh, yeah. True. Okay.
It's +1. He's a strong boy.
He's a strong boy. Cool. Alright, so that is the game. Notes on where... Because Okarari, as you mentioned, definitely had the information game going into this match. What needed to happen to sort of turn it around? Obviously, they Kyurem this game going and really hard, sort of putting a lot of eggs into that basket. And it stayed on the field a very, very long time. Because a lot of Okarari's team felt like it was supporting Kyurem to do what it needed to do. And they're just between like the curse body and, you ended up having a lot of what do you call it on your team? Like not coverage, spread on your team, and it didn't really get to do the things it needed to do. Some of it luck based, some of it just like it just didn't have, it couldn't live up.
Yeah. Last game, the one that didn't get shown here, I just want to mention it because Ogerpon came out and in at the end and did nothing in this game.
Uh-huh.
Ogerpon ruled the last game.
Yeah, for sure.
Being specifically defense invested for Kieran Black, it just ate. It just ate and ate and ate, and then it ate some more.
No, you can only eat up to 5 times. That's how many times it hits the icicle spear max.
Yeah. But Ogerpon did not care.
Yeah. Ogerpon was crying those tears with the Wellspring Mask. I mean, yeah, but like what needed to be different here, I guess, either in the team building or in the actual play, because I mean the information I feel like of the 2 choice items ended up not mattering that much because both Boulder and Gengar ended up going down very, very quickly. Obviously with the Boulder you mentioned sucker punching it and not letting it kill that Brute Bonnet immediately. Because honestly, if that Brute Bonnet slash Hiram stayed on the field longer, I don't know what you do to it.
Yeah. I mean,
you had a decent matchup into Kyurem, I feel like.
My plan against Brute Bonnet is basically just Ogerpon full counters it.
Uh-huh.
It cannot hurt Ogerpon, like literally, if it clicks Fake Out, if it hits Follow Me, sorry.
Yeah.
Because Sucker Punch will redirect to Ogerpon and fail.
Right.
Spore will redirect to Ogerpon and fail.
Right.
The only thing it could do is like a Seed Bomb if it was carrying that, and that was gonna maybe do 30 to Ogerpon.
Dig. Alright, cool. So that is gonna be it for quarters. And so we got obviously the Sada's Wrath versus Elite Four, and we've got the Moth-ership versus Team Fourgeist next week. Any final notes on the quarters?
I don't think so. They were all really good games.
They were all really good games. That's gonna be it for us, so we will see you then. Goodbye, and I'm gonna go post the Okarari team in the channel that we use so that you can actually see and we can see how wrong we were.
True.
Bye.
Goodbye.